Members of the jury, I will now read the verdicts as they will appear in the permanent records of the 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota, County of Hennepin, District Court, 4th Judicial District. State of Minnesota Plaintiff versus Derek Michael Chauvin, Defendant. Verdict, Count 1. Court file number 27, CR 20-12646. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to Count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:44 p.m. Signed, juror foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 2. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 2, third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Signed by jury foreperson, juror number 19. Same caption, verdict count 3. We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty. This verdict agreed to this 20th day of April 2021 at 1:45 p.m. Members of the jury, I find that the verdicts as read reflect the will of the jury and will be filed accordingly. I have to thank you on behalf of the people of the state of Minnesota for not only jury service, but heavy-duty jury service. What I'm going to ask you to do now is to follow the deputy back into your usual room, and I will join you in a few minutes to answer questions and to advise you further. So, all rise for the jury. Be seated. Bail is revoked, bond is discharged, and the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Hennepin County Sheriff. Anything further? All right. Thank you. We're adjourned.
Jesse Waters, some thoughts from you now?
Well, Chauvin knew he was toast. If you just look into his eyes as the verdict was read, you could see them darting around, and even his body language indicated afterwards when he was led out of there in cuffs that, yep, I did it. I knew I was going to get convicted, and here we go. And he just kind of soldiered off and walked away. Yesterday, as we covered it, there was a moment where he was given the choice if he'd wanted the judge or the jury to determine aggravating factors, and without hesitation he said, no, I'll let the judge decide. That tells me he read the room. He's looking into the eyes of the jury for the last month and a half, and he knew he was toast. So I understand that, and that's why he wanted to plead guilty for the murder 3 at the outset, because I don't believe he intended to kill George Floyd, but that's not what the statute said. Statute said for murder 2 and 3, it could have been unintentional. Just whether the knee was a substantial contributing factor to the death. And the defense team did not do a good enough job in muddying the waters. He did not have a dream team. This was not Johnny Cochran. This was a qualified defense attorney that was basically there for any officer in that union who was facing something like this. He didn't do a bad job, didn't do an excellent job, but as the judge said, you see a video like that and they play that on loop for a month and a half, and you can see the moment the life leaves this guy's face. No. If you're a police officer and this guy is freaking out, he's deranged, he's ingesting narcotics, he's having a medical episode, he won't be put into the police vehicle, that's not necessarily hostility. He's not throwing punches, he's not kicking you in the face. He's just freaking out. So you call the EMTs, the guy's on the ground handcuffed. You don't need the knee in the neck for that long. You don't need the knee in the neck at all. You could even stand there with your toe on his back and just wait for the ambulance to come. It was totally unnecessary, and anybody who sees that knows that. This is not split down racial lines. This is not where police in this country are siding with Chauvin. A large majority of the country knew and could see this coming a mile away. And to be honest with you, I'm glad it was all 3. We can put this behind him. at this point, appeal, I don't see it coming. But I just hope that people, in the sense of exhilaration on the streets, you know, when sometimes the championship wins, the team wins a championship, you still light things on fire, you still riot. Let's not have that. I hope calm heads prevail throughout the country, and we can turn this page in America.
All right. And Greg Gutfeld now.
Well, I know everybody's mentioned the video, so I won't. I actually think what affected this trial as much as the video was the key witness, Dr. Martin Tobin. Because one of the variables, you had to figure out what actually killed the victim, and I always had heard that he had a lot of drugs in his system, and when they had, and that was the most important question to me in this case, was what caused Floyd's death. And the prosecution maintained that it was asphyxiation, deprivation of oxygen, and I guess his name was Martin Tobin, said there was no evidence of an overdose, and that was a huge deal because then how did he die? And I thought that was probably the most powerful, I think the most powerful testimony that I saw. And of course, then there was like a key witness for the defense, David Fowler, who actually admitted that Floyd should have been given medical attention. So when that's the key, when your key defense witness is siding with the prosecution, you're in trouble. I will say overall, you know, I was listening to a friend of mine talk about the relief of this charge coming in. I mean, the finding coming in so quickly, because it was such a polarizing case. It divided a nation. And I was thinking, no, it didn't. This didn't divide a nation at all. There was no division. Anybody who saw the video was disgusted by it, right? I mean, I can't think of anybody that said, hey, that was okay. You know, and we've all been through, we've all talked about, we said the same thing over and over again. The cops found it disgusting. Everything is like, but there was this myth going around of a disagreement, I guess, so that the media could cling to the narrative that America is full of racist rubes, which is something that makes maybe their viewers feel superior. But this wasn't a divisive case. And I think it's a contrast between the reality of Americans who are experiencing this all at once and the manufactured environment of the people who create the news, which is that this reflects a racist country. It reflects racial division. It means the cops are all racist. It means it's not a bug in the system. It's a system itself. That was what was creating the perception of division. Everybody agreed this case was disgusting and ugly and there should be justice. But there was another story being played a lot. And now I'm going to just get really selfish. I'm glad that he was found guilty on all charges. Yeah. Even if he might not be guilty of all charges. Oh my God. I am glad that he is guilty of all charges because I want a verdict that keeps this country from going up in flames.
Oh my goodness.
No.
What do you mean?
Look, Greg, listen.
What do you mean? No, I'm at least being honest. My neighborhood was looted. I don't ever want to go through that again.
We do not sacrifice individuals for the sake
I'm
of
saying he's
how
guilty.
people
I'm
feel.
saying I'm glad about the verdict.
Okay, but the bottom line is
you can't
that
disagree with that.
That courtroom is a place where the evidence is brought in. It is pristine in terms of the way it's handled. Everything outside of the courtroom does not enter it.
Okay. Whoa. Did you wait a second? Did you hear what Mike Tobin said when he was interviewing some people when they said, hey, we're not going to loot tonight, we're going to celebrate?
Right,
so we were dealing with what we thought was a sense of extortion, that if this didn't go a certain way, I'm speaking the truth. If it didn't go a certain way, there was going to be destruction. We know that. Why pretend otherwise?
All right.
Come on.